All right, look, some fans might owe Inojin a apology, and not just because they called him a PDF file, but because they said that when the man was told the word avenge, some of you guys might have heard avocado instead. There were a lot of people refusing to accept what was really being said, but Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 28 just walked into the room, dropped one giant emotional anvil on the table, pointed to that panel of Inojin holding Himawari's lifeless body and said, "No, for real, she died. By avenge, we clearly meant that she kicked the bucket." Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, is breaking down why confirming that Himawari got equal rights and equal lefts and died in the alternate timeline was actually a very brilliant writing move, how it raises the stakes for Boruto's current battle against Mamushi, what it means for Himawari's future training arc, and yes, why Mamushi might have just made the single dumbest strategic mistake in not just one timeline, multiple timelines, which, Jesus Christ, I am saying it right now, if there's one Naruto Boruto character I would not want to be, it's definitely Mamushi. Let's get into it, but quick reminder, the chapter drops on the 19th, so basically today when you guys are seeing this video, so read it over on Manga Plus and on the Viz Media Shonen Jump app. The review should be out on the 21st or the 22nd. Since the review editor needs 48 hours to do the review and maintain the quality that you guys have gotten for the other 27 2 Blue Vortex reviews, since he's over in India, I'm obviously in the US, so there's like a 13 or 14 hour time zone difference between us. So I thank you for your patience and your understanding. So without further ado, let's start with why this confirmation had to happen. So for a solid month or so, fans were debating whether or not Himawari died. Some people said, hey, when Inojin was told avenge, it could have been symbolic. She didn't necessarily have to die. Maybe she got injured. Maybe she was just hurt really, really bad. But chapter 28 gives us undisputable visual evidence. Inojin is holding her body. She's not inside of a tree. She's basically not crystallized. She's just simply dead. Naruto's baby girl ended up like that stuffed animal that she and Boruto fought over in the day that Naruto became Hokage one-shot manga chapter that Kishimoto drew in 2015. And that alone closes the door on any ambiguity that is out there. And being blunt, the story really needed this in my opinion, because it validates Inojin's grief and his feelings, as well as the creation of his new jutsu. That emotional weight behind Inojin's new jutsu, it was always tied to loss. Now that loss is authentic, and he made that jutsu to prevent any type of loss from happening. It also proves that this timeline was indeed a worst case scenario, and it just goes to show that when Boruto tries to desperately avoid disaster, like when he told Kawaki, get your limiters removed, we got a brand new timeline update and we see exactly how bad things turned out because of what he did, because this is part of what Kashin Koji saw when Kawaki got his limiters moved too early. Himawari dying now hits harder than almost any other casualty that we would have gotten. Because who's the one character Boruto cares about more than anything else? His younger sister. Every battle that we see now is basically Boruto trying to prevent Mamushi from killing his sister, like we saw in this timeline, which we'll touch on that later. It was Mamushi and not Jura who killed her. And it also creates more narrative symmetry with Ada's death. Both Ada and Himawari died in that doomed timeline. Two characters Boruto is deeply bound to narratively. One was bound as a singularity of fate, and the other was just bound as family. That sets up a clear emotional tightrope for you to walk here. Boruto fights both to protect fate as well as family. Without clear confirmation, that emotional clarity doesn't fully land here. If we didn't see those bodies, it does not hit the same when we read Boruto versus Mamushi. Now, this also brings me to the most important thing, the question you're probably asking, why am I so certain that it was Mamushi, not Jura? So, Himawari's death being caused by Mamushi matters a lot. So let's go ahead and unpack that. There are a lot of people that assume that Jura killed her. I thought it at first until we got this chapter. This chapter made it clear. So if Jura would have been the one to take down someone like Himawari here, her body would have been ended up in that tree. just like Ada, just like every other victim who was targeted by a Shinju. But Himawari, her body is intact. There is no tree, there is no ceiling, there is no chakra absorption. That does not line up with what we saw when Jura tried to get her the first time. He was gonna try to have her in the tree the same way that Hidari tried to have Sword in the tree, the same way that Matsuri was in the process of trying to do it with Konohamaru, the same way that we see Ada ended up. With Mamushi, he just beat the, excuse the language for here, but he just beat the ever-living fuck out of Himawari. And I think that's important. I think it's golden too. But Mamushi killing Himawari reframes this entire current fight. Boruto isn't just fighting a dangerous Shinju, the literal first Shinju that he battled into Blue Vortex. He isn't just defending Ada for the sake of timeline integrity. He's fighting the monster who in another timeline murdered his baby sister, caused Inojin's grief, contributed to the collapse of Konoha based on what we saw, and directly influenced Kashin Koji's desperation to try to fix this current timeline. And now, every attack that Boruto throws at Mamushi, it isn't just strategy, it's also urgency, it's also trauma, it's also desperation to stop history from repeating itself, or rather stop a future that should come to play not actually happen. And now we as readers, we get to feel that pressure. That's why this choice, I think, is really good writing. I wish that Ikimoto just would have gone full-blown Toriyama, the same way that we saw Raccoon break Gohan's neck. I would have liked to see Mamushi just break Himawari's neck on panel. I would have liked to have seen Mamushi pick her up by the hair the way that she is on this thumbnail that you're seeing. Just go full old school shonen. F them kids, basically. And that also brings me to this next point, which is why this makes the Boruto versus Mamushi battle way more intense. Boruto right now is fighting with double purpose, and it's very fitting given that his character serves a double role in this post-omnipotence world. He is both a hero as well as a villain. He's a hero protecting the world, and he is a villain in the sense that everyone wants to hunt him down. So the first thing is that he's protecting Ada because her death obviously is a big no-no. She's a singularity of fate. Koji's already showed us what happens when Mamushi succeeded. Ada died and basically it was catastrophe. Now, the other thing is that he's protecting Himawari because in that other timeline, she was collateral, and that's that tragic tryst. Even though she herself does not remember Boruto as her biological brother, Omnipotence rewrote her memories, but Boruto, he remembers everything. Momoshiki told us, those who are immune to omnipotence, Boruto included, they're doomed to suffer the most. That is Boruto suffering the most. His sister dying. That would break Boruto. And that's the tension here. He's now protecting someone who does not recognize him as a brother from an enemy he knows already killed her once. That is some peak shonen tragedy right there. Every panel of this fight becomes more intense because the audience knows Boruto's trying to protect the timeline. He's trying to protect his sister. He's trying to fight a monster that already killed her in another timeline, and he's trying to avoid any other outcome that could trigger another future collapse. Every decision now has huge ramifications. That is multi-layered tension that elevates this entire arc when you take that into account. That's why a proper understanding of Kashin Koji's 10 directions and all the probabilities is so important. Boruto knows about stuff with the future. When you make changes, there are ripple effects. And that also brings me to why Himawari's future, in particular her training arc, is being set up very beautiful here. We got teasing for it, but we're really about to see something. So this is important. Himawari fought Jura earlier, and yes, she impressed everyone. I pointed out when it was happening, hey, there's definitely room for improvement. There's some chakra control issues, but let's be honest here. Jura was playing around with her. He was not trying to kill her. He wasn't even pushing himself. He was just using a little bit more power than he initially planned to use, but he played around with her. Anyone telling you that Himawari scales to Jura when Jura was obviously playing, they're being disingenuous. He was treating her like an experiment, literally shooting Biju Dama at her just to see how quickly she could regenerate. That was curiosity. That was him seeing something interesting but not threatening. In a real fight, she dies. And this alternate timeline directly proves that. She doesn't have that full mastery of Kurama's power. She does not have full combat instincts under control. She is still very much raw. And what we saw is that if a Shinju fought her seriously, she's done. Because again, if Jura would have been the one that killed her, she would have been in that tree. She wasn't. She was just dead, beaten up. And this sets up a perfect growth arc for her. This gives more urgency for the narrative to have her master Kurama's power. The good thing for her is that Kurama is actively working with her to help her do that. And that's really important because she has benefits that Naruto never got. Kurama is not resisting her. He is actively trying to train her, working in perfect harmony with her. Whereas with Naruto had to fight over time to get Kurama to work with him. I know that pisses Naruto fans off. Oh, it's another handout to a new generation. Respectfully, if you're saying that, you don't understand Kurama's character arc. It's precisely because he is working with Naruto's daughter willingly that you should appreciate what it is that you're seeing. If you don't like that and you want to see Kurama gaslighting and resisting and all this other stuff, there's a manga that is 72 volumes that is called Naruto. I suggest you go read that. And maybe if you read it and you pay attention to how Kurama interacts with Naruto and grows over time, you can appreciate why him working with Naruto's daughter and doing it willingly is a sign of growth. You'll even appreciate why Kurama gave his life for Naruto. And if you pay attention to how Minato's seal was set up, you'd understand Naruto lost Kurama, he lost a huge chunk of power, but look at the mechanics how Minato's seal works. You'll get a very good insight into how strong Naruto actually is. Gotta throw that out there because I know there's gonna be somebody that leaves a comment saying that this is another New Gen handout, which, not apologizing for it, but that's stuck in Shippuden brain rot. The other thing is that this puts more emphasis on taijutsu, ninjutsu, and just Biju chakra control. Kurama's trying to get her to fight instinctually like a Biju. She's going to need more mentors. Kurama's a hell of a mentor, so even if it's just Kurama, that's an amazing thing. She also needs to blossom into becoming a real threat, not just a prodigy with potential. Kurama's line stands in a void for a reason. He said potential alone was not enough. That alternate timeline death, it wasn't just tragedy. It was also motivation for her, for Boruto, for readers who now understand just how dangerous this world truly is. And this also brings me to why Mamushi is the biggest idiot in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. However dumb you think that Konoha, Sai, and whoever else is, Mamushi's the biggest clown. So Mamushi, bro, he messed up in both timelines. Allow me to explain why I say this. So in timeline 1, the Doom timeline, Mamushi fought inside of Konoha. He disrespected Jura's rule. He don't want any trouble inside the village. He also killed Jura's target. He basically told Jura, hey, yeah, so I accidentally went into the village because I was super horny for Ada, and I kind of blew up some stuff in the village, killed some people. And yeah, that girl Himawari that you were going after, I don't know how to say this. You might want to find a new target because I absolutely beat the hell out of her and she's dead. Unless you want to eat a dead body. I'm not judging, bro. If you want to do that, that's totally what you can do. And that's basically like punching a bear and then stealing the honey and then eating the honey in front of the bear. Unless it's Yogi, you ain't coming out that forest alive. Now, the next thing is that in timeline B, the current timeline, he's still messed up. Like, Mamushi can't win for losing. He's now fighting Boruto, the same Boruto who has a grudge against this man the size of the Hokage monument because he knows that Himawari got killed in the timeline. He knows he's fighting the guy that did it. He's also trying to prevent 2 separate deaths. And Boruto, based on the way that he's cutting down these Shinju, I would say he's channeling Tobirama's, quote, racism, end quote, against the Uchiha clan. Whether or not you want to call Tobirama a racist is totally up for you. I'm not going to go that route. But when Boruto's cutting down those Shinju, it feels a little too personal. I'm wondering if Boruto's got a white hood underneath that cloak somewhere. He also knows that Mamushi killed his sister in another timeline. Bro basically sealed his fate. Because when this fight is over, Boruto's gonna slice Mamushi so cleanly that even Orochimaru is gonna wake up one morning and be like, who sharpened that boy's knife? Mamushi picked the wrong sibling to mess with. He's not gonna make it out this arc with his head attached. Himawari's death being confirmed in an alternate timeline, it wasn't shock value. It was character motivation, it was narrative clarity, it was emotional grounding, it was giving the timeline stakes, it was giving the story symmetry. It was also a setup for the future. It makes Boruto's current battle one of the most emotionally loaded in the entire series, because now Boruto isn't just fighting for victory, he's fighting to rewrite destiny itself. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left to check out more Naruto Explained videos, or clicking on the right to check out videos from my other two anime channels where I talk about non-Naruto anime and manga.